Good afternoon, Jacqueline. I would like to ask this question. Probably you've heard about our president, and what are your comments about his branding, his personal branding, and would you like to invite him to your to your seminar? Probably. Do you think his branding is effective? Because you mentioned earlier that you grew up with the influence from your mother, your grandmother, right? And people are saying that the president is like that because that's how he grew up, di ba? I'm speaking Tagalog. That's how he grew up. So all those cuss and all those foul languages are merely how he was raised. So what can you say about the branding of the president?
Well, I'm glad you mentioned that question because, as you know, we're getting ready to have a very big political election, and we're also facing the same thing about the branding of our two candidates as well. And you know, I was watching the local news this morning and watching your president, and I don't know a whole lot about him personally, but I did think about what would happen if I ever had dinner with him. And my mother taught me how to get along with just about anybody. And I have a way of being able to sit next to someone, and Jenny can tell you this, and I can ask them questions that people wouldn't ordinarily ask them. And this is something I teach in my seminars, and we're going to do this tomorrow, is how do you peel away the layers of the onion. So, when you see someone who you might think is rough around the edges, who is a little bit coarse, sometimes when you peel away that onion and you see the inside, it's a protection mechanism. It's to protect vulnerability. That person may indeed seem rough on the outside, but when you meet the real person, that person may be just a tad bit vulnerable and sensitive, but does not want to show that side. Now, I'm not going to say that as your president, but I will say that I have worked with a lot of men and women who have the similar personality of your president. And when you really take the time to get to know that person as a person, you find out that there's more than just what you see on the outside. And I believe that's for all of us. What you see on the outside may not be the complete person. But very few people in business do not take the time to find out what you're really like. Maybe because we don't have the time. Maybe it's because we don't want to take the time. But if you're sitting next to somebody for 3 hours at a dinner party, you can only talk about business for so long. What else do you talk about? And that's what I teach. What do you talk about when you've talked about business? You can talk about that for about 20 minutes. What do you do? Well, that's a really boring subject. But to get to the heart of the matter is to find out what makes that person sing. So, if I were to have dinner with your president, one way I would do that is to find out what his hobbies and interests are. Because everybody likes to talk about one thing, and that's themselves. And when you put the spotlight on that person, and they love the spotlight, they're going to think you're the greatest small talker in the world. So I don't know if that really answers your question, but I wish I knew him a little bit better. But I will say this: what you see on the outside isn't always what's on the inside. That means we can't always judge a book by its cover. But I will say, we all have a personal brand.